And we're ready there.
Thank you so much. Here we go. Welcome everybody to our Public Council meeting, March 2nd, 2021. Thank you for indulging us with the time change today, but this enables us to get as many members as possible together under the circumstances of a pandemic. So hopefully everybody is safe, and I'll accept, please, a motion to adopt the agenda, moved by Councillor Stoyles. Thank you, Councillor Stoyles, and also second by Councillor Randall. All in favor of the agenda? Thank you very much. Motion is carried. The next item you see, folks, are the minutes from the previous meeting only a week ago. Well done again, Ms. Lewis, on the minutes. Can I have I'll call now for a review of the minutes, and please tell me if there's any changes that you require. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to adopt the agenda, or to adopt the minutes of the previous meeting. Moved by Councillor Fry and seconded by Councillor Stoyles. All in favor? And those opposed? Motion carried. Please, Council, now is time to talk with regards to any business arising from those minutes. So is there any business arising, and what would be the item number to start the conversation?
Just a quick business update on number 2103099, the walking trails, Your Worship.
Yes, please.
I must say that it seems to be that the residents, pet owners, are starting to pick up after their pets. In the past few days, I've actually noticed it's after getting a little bit cleaner. I think if we keep paying attention to it and pick up after your pets, it'll get better and better. So I just happen to notice that it's a significant improvement.
Glad to hear, because there's a lot of traffic on the trails the past 2 weeks, eh?
Yeah. Oh, it's so heavy now, yeah.
And I'm sure this is going to come up again in the round table. Folks, any other items from arising from the previous meeting? Hearing none, thank you very much. The next item is a proclamation as it relates to World Lymphedema Day, March 6, 2021. And I wanted to note that we did turn on the lights at City Hall. I believe that was Saturday, and they were shining blue in honor of World Lymphedema Day. So whereas lymphedema is a chronic and debilitating disease characterized by an accumulation of lymphatic fluid that causes swelling of the arms, legs, and other areas of the body. And whereas patients with lymphedema may struggle with pain and swelling and may experience financial and psychological strains due to the difficulties of managing their disease. Whereas while there are cases of primary lymphedema that are inherited, most cases are secondary that developed as a result of trauma, infection, surgery, radiation therapy, or removal of lymph nodes. Whereas the removal of lymph nodes and radiation therapy are typical in cancer treatment, leaving some cancer survivors predisposed to lymphedema. And whereas research about lymphedema has continued to grow, ensuring the best practices are available for patient care. And whereas lymphedema affects many people in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And whereas the Lymphedema Association of Newfoundland and Labrador is a registered charity dedicated to ensuring all lymphedema patients have access to information, support, and treatment. And March 6th of each year is internationally recognized as World Lymphedema Day to raise awareness about this disease and the treatment options possible. Therefore, I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of my colleagues on council, we do hereby proclaim March 6, 2021 be observed as World Lymphedema Day. And we did recognize that, and I believe the lights were on, as I recall, on Saturday in recognition of that. Any comments, council? In past times, we would have somebody come in and speak with us, but that's not possible. But this proclamation is no stranger to our council chamber. Any questions, comments? Okay, moving right along with the Easter Seals proclamation. March 2021 is Easter Seals Month. And whereas approximately 79,000 people of all ages in our province live with disabilities such as physical, sensory, cognitive, or other disabilities which present barriers to full participation in our society. And whereas Easter Seals, Newfoundland and Labrador is a charitable organization with a mission to engage, inspire, and empower by providing life-changing programs and services for persons with disabilities of all ages and helping to build a world where all persons with disabilities live full, active, and healthy lives. And whereas Easter Seals recreation and therapy programs help those with disabilities explore what they can do through independence camps, art and music therapy, and adaptive sports, promoting full, active, and healthy, sociable, engaged lifestyles. And whereas Easter Seals offers career services programs to assist those with barriers to employment, successfully from home and school into adulthood and independence, with a focus on preparing for, obtaining, and maintaining gainful employment. And whereas Easter Seals Disability Awareness Program activates and fosters disability awareness and sensitivity and provides tools for accessibility and inclusion. Therefore, be it resolved that I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of Mount Pearl City Council, do hereby proclaim March to be Easter Seals Month in the city of Mount Pearl, and I will affix my signature electronically through the city clerk's office. Any comments, council?
I would like to speak to this, Your Worship.
Oh, please, Councillor Fry.
You know, the Easter Seals is such a great organization, and the work that they're doing is so valuable in our community for persons with disabilities. And I know that they're putting a lot of time and effort into their fully inclusive park at the facility. And phase 1, I believe, is complete and includes a fully inclusive playground. And phase 2 is ongoing and will include a sensory garden and full inclusive amphitheater. I mean, this is so valuable in the work that they do. And I'm just going to take this moment also to proudly talk about our accessible playground that we'll be having in the near future. So with more people involved and keeping accessibility top of mind, the world will be a better place all around. So I think this is a great organization, and I just wanted to speak to that.
Well, thank you very much. Well said. Anybody else wish to comment? All right, let's move along in the agenda. The next item up for next committee is the Community Development Committee. Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. We only have a couple of items this evening, and the first one is about our community center feasibility study. You know, as people know from our recent announcement, we are intending on creating or developing a new community center, which we're really excited about. What we have to do now is figure out the best way of doing it, where it goes, the design, so on and so forth. So the first step in that is to engage a consultant to create a feasibility study, which is the concept, design, and viability. So the committee recommends approval to enter into an agreement with KPMG to conduct a community center concept design and viability study for the amount of $45,000 plus HST. And that is expected to be completed by April the 7th of 2021. So this is the first step in our community center, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry and seconded by Councillor Antle. Any further discussion? Or Councillor Stoyles, please.
I just wanted to say how happy I am to see us moving forward with such a great project. It's something that we need in our community, not only for the seniors, but for all the community groups and having a building that's accessible to everybody. Right now, the seniors, of course, because of COVID, they're not meeting right now, but when they were meeting, Park Place wasn't really very accessible. They had one little elevator down there that was so tiny, any more than 2 people getting in it, and I know it was always certified and well able to be used, but many times we did have problems with it. And accessibility for our seniors is so important, that they can go and do everything on the one level, and the size of the building too, for them to have everybody under the one roof. So I'm delighted to see that we're moving forward with such a project, and I'm delighted to be here to support it.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Antle.
Yes, as we mentioned on our budget, Your Worship, I mean, we talked about this community centre, and I think we were all in agreement on this community centre. And, one of the things we do with the Community Ministerial Supper Association, there's so many groups that use the Park Place, and there's just no place to go anymore. I mean, right down to the Park Place, if you plug in the kettle, there's a good chance you're going to turn off the light somewhere else because we're always doing something with Park Place. Moving forward, I think this is a good thing. The residents are going to be so happy that we're going to look forward to. We don't know where it's going and where it's going to be, but we started the process, and stay tuned. I think this is April the 7th, and we'll have some other announcement really, really shortly.
Yes.
I hope we will anyhow. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Yeah, I think the purpose of the feasibility study is to assess whether we do it. It's very clear that Park Place has outlived its usefulness as the current building stands. From accessibility issues to a load-bearing wall that goes right down the middle that interrupts program activity. I believe the basement has been showing signs of it's cracked and there's some leaking. It's time for this consideration. And I guess the whole purpose of the study is to engage with our community as to what they would like to see to go into that center. And it could be as simple as having a wedding there. But I think the primary drivers would be our user groups here in the city, Mount Pearl, anywhere from our cadets to our brownies, Girl Guides, Scouts and Cubs, to the service groups like the Kinsmen and the Kinet and others, as well as our Seniors Independence Group. I think it's going to be a really good fit for the community. But of course, the reason we call it a feasibility study is we have to make sure it's feasible to get it done. It'll look at the size of the building, the location, and the cost, amongst other things. And I know council's been very studious in the last few months, especially during the budget process, in determining, what kind of a budget can be allocated to this. So more on this in the coming days and weeks, but first we have to get on with the study. Councillor Fry, would you like to close debate?
Well, I mean, you guys have said it all so perfectly. I mean, I think we are all excited about a new community center because we have such a strong community. So now we're going to give them the building to carry out what they do for people, for residents. Okay, so next on our agenda is...
Oh, no, sorry. Excuse me, Councillor. I just want to call the motion to approve the feasibility study. No worries. Moved by Councillor Fry, seconded by Councillor Antle. Again, all in favor? And those opposed? Motion carried. All yours.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is the building and occupancy permit listing. So this is for the period of February the 22nd to March the 5th, and the committee recommends that the building permits issued for the period above, showing a total construction value of $352,500, be approved, and further that the occupancy permit list be accepted as presented. And as you can see here in your kit, it's not as busy as it usually is, but I think this is for the period of 1 week. So if there are no questions, I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry and seconded by Councillor Antle. And I just want to make an observation. I drove by the Kent parking lot a few minutes ago, and it is blocked with lumber. So they are getting ready for construction season to begin. And I'm sure the permit list will be we'll start to gather a full deck, as they say, in the coming days and weeks. I'll call the question for the commercial and the residential permits as moved by Councillor Fry. All in favor? And those opposed? And carried. Thank you. Moving further into the agenda, we have now the Corporate Services and Economic Development Committee report. Councillor Bill Antle, please.
Worship, we only have a couple here to report on today. When you do meetings every week, the meetings get shorter. We have 11 invoices there for approval for a total of $328,516.60. And there's a few there. You'll notice there's 4 new fleet vehicles that we have approved. Our fleet is being renewed. We replaced some of our vehicles last a long time. And now we have 4 new ones there to go back on our fleet to see them in our street fleet. There's ERP implementation. There's 3 there. Our software development upgrade is nearing completion. And I so move.
Okay, thank you. Moved by Councillor Antle and seconded by Councillor Fry. Any questions? Thoughts? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carries.
And for your information, the payment register for March the 4th totaled $332,466.46. and you can see them there in your kit. First, a couple of their really high ones there were St. John's Transportation Commission for $97,000. That was for the month of February. And same thing for the MVT Canadian Bus That's to Go bus for $36,342. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Or for our committee, I'm sorry.
That was for an FYI, and there's no questions about the payment register. Thank you, sir. Let's move on now. The Infrastructure and Public Works Committee, Councillor Lucy Stoyles.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of items. First one, of course, we have is a couple of change orders, and this is for visual management. This is for the Kenmount Park storm sewer outfall, and it's for work along the 903 Topsail Road, and it's two different ones there. One is for design work, and the other change order is for the complete project management scope. The first one is in the amount of 25,954 for design work, and I'm going to move both of them at the same time. And the second one is for the management is complete project management scope, and that's $4,838. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Stoyles and second by Councillor Fry. Comments or questions? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed, motion carried. Thank you very much.
The next item is for information only, and then basically a thank you to the MMSB for helping with the cost of a wood chipper that we purchased. The wood chipper is already in our fleet, and there's a picture of it there. This wood chipper, MMSB gave us $10,000 towards the piece of equipment, which was 80% of the cost of it. So, and it was already purchased and everything, and we just wanted to let the public know that it's in our fleet and doing all kinds of work. And over the next number of months, it certainly will be used an awful lot more, especially with residents not having to, tree stumps and any kind of debris or anything they have around their property. And it'd be good for our public works department. We won't have to bring as much to the landfill, so it will save on tipping cost and everything like that instead of bringing a lot of the stuff to the landfill. So it's a good news story. And again, and our brochure is also there for our recycling, our garbage recycling, and all that's included. And you can just get online and get that, and it's just to go into the Mount Pearl website and have a look at any of that. And of course, there's a picture of the wood chipper there as well, and that is for information only. The next couple of items is our public.
Sorry, Councillor. I think Councillor Antle has a question.
Yeah, I certainly think this is a good news story, Councillor Stoyles, and just a couple of questions. I think this is a great thing for us to have in the city, and we're going to use it a lot. But will we have a drop-off location for people to drop off trees and bushes and this kind of stuff, or how does this work?
Well, I think we're going to plan on probably two different things. We'll be letting the public know if we have a drop-off area, but I think it's going to be taken from area to area, and if people got stuff out, it'll be done right in the thing in a truck. I mean, in the picture there, it shows that they can just take it in your driveway, Councillor Rental, and if you have a lot of debris and stuff there, they can just chip it right there. And I don't know if Direct Rental would like to comment on it, but I think it's going to be used in both ways. And of course, our recreation department will be using it for in a lot of our walkways and things like that. Now we have a lot of like we say, the walking system and the pathways in the city of Mount Pearl is probably the best in the country.
Director Antle, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, Councillor Stoyles, Councillor Antle, this equipment will be used primarily for curbside collection. So primarily people will call in and ask for us to make an appointment, and we'll go out and collect their wood, their landscape material, the trees and branches and what have you, and chip it on site. So we'll take the material, the chips, then we'll use it in the parks and landscape areas around the city, but primarily a curbside.
So just one more question. So if a resident has a wood chip, has their product chipped in their property, do they get the wood chips, or does the city own that then?
We would want to use it for our parks and other areas, but if somebody wanted to consider some of the chips, I'm sure we can make arrangements.
Okay, thank you. I think this is a great thing.
It certainly is a great thing, and I think we had one a number of years ago, a smaller one that we had, a number of years ago. So I guess that's not in the fleet because I remember having a small one years ago. Anyway, moving on. Just wanted to let the public know again that all our essential services are open even in the middle in the pandemic, and we're still at level 5, and hopefully that's going to change this coming Friday. But our garbage collection and all our water and sewer work and all our repairs and potholes and things are being done. And as we said many times, safety is the utmost, especially when it comes to COVID and making sure our workforce are safe. And the thing I think most people are talking about over the past number of weeks is, especially when we've been getting good weather, is the trailway and how the grooming has gone on, and people have, I don't know how many people have commented to me and that how much they really enjoy, out walking and able to get through the pathways. One time you couldn't walk on the pathways. It was once winter came, we had a couple of small amounts of snow. It was too dangerous to be in the pathways. But now with the trailways and the groomings, people are using it regularly, and it's so good, and it's certainly worth every cent we spend to get that done, because the residents certainly use it here within our city. Our capital works programs projects are ongoing. Our crack ceiling was closed and our material testing closed, and we have a number of other tenders coming soon. Line painting and asphalt concrete repair work and pedestrian underpass repairs, all that will be tendered soon and out in the public. So all this work will be done this year, and hopefully sooner rather than later, especially if we get a good spring. And of course, our facilities inspection is a list there, arm's length. Our workforce, of course, continues in the midst of a pandemic and everything shut down. We've been trying to make sure that we won't have as many shutdowns. Like normally we would shut down our pool for a number of days over Easter or after Easter, and hopefully none of that's going to happen now when we get back down to level 3 and we can open all our facilities again, and that hopefully we won't be having as many shutdowns. So as you can see, the list is quite long. Our staff is working quite hard, continuing to work and monitor and do all the inspections that need to be done. I don't know if council, if Director Randall wanted to mention anyone in particular that he wanted to highlight, but all of them are important, of course. I mean, from making sure the fire alarms and everything is up to date and code, and our elevators and everything is inspected on a regular basis, and want to say thank you to the staff that continues to work hard for the city of Mount Pearl.
Director? I think that last one's important.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's any number of systems that we inspect as part of our regular checks on facilities. The City of Mount Pearl has some complex facilities, particularly at the Summit Centre and the Glacier. These systems that we've listed here are primarily life safety systems, sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems, what have you. There's regulatory inspections and service inspections and annual inspections that we'll do. So the main thing we're trying to point out here is the importance of doing these system checks to ensure that the building is maintained properly, and certainly for life safety systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Randall. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is that, I mean, we're in March now, and before you know it, April is going to be here, and the first bulk garbage is going to be coming sooner than you think. So for people to start thinking and getting ready to get their bulk garbage out. The first one this year is free. So when you get your bulk garbage picked up in April, May, the first one is free. And after that, if you want a bulk garbage picked up, you can call, and you will have to pay a $25 fee to get that done. We've made some changes to our budget in these economic times. not, we all don't agree with them, but at the end of the day, it is a necessary evil, as for better word of saying it. But for people to consider thinking of what they're getting ready now, especially when they're home and working from home, and they got a lot more free time, not involved in volunteer work and out, volunteering, maybe they can start looking at what they're going to get ready to send out the bulk garbage. Just want to let the residents know that that's coming sooner than you think. And that is it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Stoyles. Folks, that's the end of our set agenda. We'll turn now to the roundtable. I believe next in order is Councillor Fry to speak first. No, sorry, Councillor Antle. Sorry, Councillor Fry. I think you went first last time.
I did, yes.
Apologies. Councillor Antle, please.
No, I wouldn't let Councillor Fry go first if she wanted. So I'll be very, very quick. Just a couple of things from me, Your Worship. First off, on Sunday, myself and Councillor Fry and yourself had the fine opportunity to go to Powers Pond and partake in the snowshoeing activities. The snowshoeing, right now, we're getting lots of comments on our website. Our hats off to our staff in the city of Mount Pearl. Our directors have been top notch. Outside activities we far excel anywhere in the province, I think. Everything's available that you can do outside. With the snowshoeing, it's so easy to do. You just call ahead, from 764-7635. You can go on our website and find it. You can get the snowshoes. It's contactless. Just call ahead, drop up anytime in the day between 11 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and you can get your snowshoes. And it's quite easy to use. I noticed yesterday there was youngsters up there on snowshoes. We have children's sizes, and it's so easy to use. You rent them for 24 hours. And we certainly enjoyed it a lot. You can also see that we also have Arts in the Park. Arts in the Park activities every Friday. Christine Hannaberry and friends are doing fun videos every Friday. And you can take a look at that. They're fun things to do and create. Also, our ministerial association here in the city of Mount Pearl put together Vigil of Hope and Care. And you can certainly find that on our website, or you can find that on any of our councillors' Facebook pages. But this is talking about the Vigil of Hope within the city. And, it's not all doom and gloom. We're doing quite well within Mount Pearl, within the province. And it's great if you got a minute to go take a look at this, and it's very inspirational. Also, Mount Pearl Library. There's so many things on the go within the city. Mount Pearl Public Library also has daily activities. They have, last week they had cooking classes. They have book sculptures. There's even a knee library for cookbooks. So if you take a chance, take a look at the Mount Pearl Public Library, and you'll find something to keep yourself busy. And I just noticed today that for a long-range forecast, we're supposed to have warmer than average temperatures. So things are looking up. And that's everything for me, Your Worship.
Thank you. Are you saying we're not getting any snow for the rest of the winter, Councillor Antle?
I'm not saying a word, Your Worship. I want to get elected again.
That's great. Thank you very much. Councillor Stoyles, please.
Thank you. A couple of items. First of all, I want to pass along my sympathies to former Mayor Randy Sims and the loss of his brother. Dennis passed away. And Dennis was a councillor in Appleton where he grew up and where Randy grew up. And I know it's a difficult time for the Sims family. So maybe it'd be nice to send off a little card to the former mayor, letting them know that we're thinking about him. Certainly appreciate that. And the MNL convention, online registration is open for the symposium and convention coming up now, and it opened, I think, on Monday. So anybody, I know a lot of businesses and that always took part in that besides council, and that anybody who's selling or does any amount of work with municipalities, and that is just not for elected officials, it's for everybody. I know they won't be able to have the a number of things that they normally would have, but certainly be interesting. They're going to have a lot of good speakers. And the last thing I want to speak about, Your Worship, is Canada Post. And we did have a meeting, and everybody on council, except the deputy mayor because he was off, was at the meeting with Canada Post. And I don't want to say it was a good meeting. I don't want to say it was a bad meeting, but it certainly was an interesting meeting. and I don't know how many meetings now I've met with Canada Post since they came here with the super mailboxes, and when we talk about Canada Post, an awful lot of people rely on Canada Post. A lot of people are working from home these days and getting documents from Canada Post. This past couple of weeks alone, people are waiting for their T4 slips to come from Canada Post because employers or got people working from home. So it's an awful lot of stuff come from Canada Post, an awful lot more than just pizza coupons. Just wanted to say that. And I think the people rely on Canada Post an awful lot, and the super mailboxes, in my opinion, is not working in this province, is not working in this city, and they have not been cooperative with us. They have not worked with us. They've said back a year and a half ago we met, and they had a new guy there. Well, you got Sandy. Well, Sandy was there for almost 2 years, and we still have sand in front of all our mailbox. We still have damages done. People have damages done to their fence and can't get a response from Canada Post. I deal directly with Seamus O'Regan's office when people have problems. And the other thing that people don't know, a lot of people don't realize, if you have a health issue, or if you are a senior and you can't get to your mailbox, especially in the wintertime, Canada Post will deliver your mail to you once a week, usually on a Wednesdays, and people need to contact their MHA or their MP mostly. And I know Ruth at Seamus's office is only glad to arrange that for individuals, but I'm looking forward for the next couple of months to work with Canada Post. But I certainly, the thing that bothered me the most is at that meeting is the language that was said, that we're the only province, we're only municipalities that they have problems with. And I find that very difficult to believe when you look at all the municipalities around this province and around this country, that nobody else complains about the sand, or nobody else complains about the super mailboxes, only Mount Pearl. That upsets me to no end. I gotta say that. And I will continue to fight for the residents of Mount Pearl who have issues with Canada Post. I know I have a neighbor just up the street that got their fence broken in, and that. I know the fence is 15 years old, or maybe a bit older, but they weren't planning on repairing or replacing that fence this summer. But because Canada Post damaged it, they're going to have to do something with the fence. And it's sad if Canada Post don't take action and help the residents and do what needs to be done for the people of Mount Pearl. And anyway, I won't say no more. I will look forward to working with them and try once again. But I'm very skeptical. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Stoyles. Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. I only have a couple of things this evening. First of all, I want to send a big congratulations to one of our entrepreneurs here in Mount Pearl, Deborah Feltham. Deborah is a managing partner with Feltham & Associates Chartered Professional Accountants. And she was recently nominated in the 29th annual RBC Canadian Women Entrepreneur Awards. And this is a big deal. Like, this is a national award. This award program recognizes the country's leading female entrepreneurs who have made an impressive and substantial contribution to the local, Canadian, or global economy. And they go on to say that award winners are shining examples of the perseverance, ingenuity, and grit it takes to be an outstanding entrepreneur. And one of our own Mount Pearl residents and entrepreneurs has been nominated for this prestigious award. So huge congratulations to Deborah. And fittingly, that was announced yesterday on International Women's Day. So I just wanted to make mention of that as well. International Women's Day, the theme for this year is From Challenge Comes Change. And I think we've all seen that over the last, well, just over a year now, I guess, or just about a year. And I know it's been more challenging for women, especially working from home with competing priorities like small children or even teenagers in the house. And it's hard to separate being mom from being employee. So it's a lot more challenging over the last year. So I just wanted to mention this because this year's theme is looking at challenging norms so that we can achieve a more inclusive and equal future. So to all those women who are trying to do it all, we see that and we recognize that, and that's what the day is for. And International Women's Day marks the achievements of women and raises awareness about social, economic, cultural, and political inequities and hardships. And I just want to take this time to recognize the wonderful women that we have on our screen, because we have great community leaders here and great. Their leadership is extraordinary, and I mean that with all sincerity. I mean, we have Mona Lewis, who was our acting CAO for the last year or so during the pandemic. Our director, Cassie Pittman, director of corporate services, and our new CAO, Dana Spurl, and of course our longest serving counselor, Lucy Stoyles. I almost said Lucy Fries, my mother, same name, Lucy Stoyles. So thank you to all you guys and for all that you do, and happy International Women's Day. And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank
And
you,
back to
Councillor
you,
Fry.
Isabel. Yeah, back to Isabel. It's hats off to her for all the work in the community stuff she does as well.
Thank you, Lucy.
That's a great segue. And, there's some items that deserve to be duplicated in our roundtable discussion. And I had that first on my list to wish all of you in this room a happy International Women's Day. And I want to acknowledge the contribution. And the folks, if you don't mind, I'd like to make it a little bit personal. But I want to say, a very sincere thank you to Mona, Cassie, Isabel, Dana, and Lucy. All of you, you're very good people. You're fine leaders. And you set a tremendous example and role model for the younger women in our population. And I just want to say what a pleasure it is on behalf of everybody in the room and our residents and our businesses to say what a pleasure it is to work with you day in, day out. And your contribution is immense. It's awesome. And unfortunately, we shouldn't have to celebrate it just one day in the year. We should celebrate it all year round. So again, I'll just close by saying good on you, and it's great working with you. And it's always a pleasure to join you here at the council table. So, within your respective staffs too, if you wouldn't mind passing that on to all of our staff. We all make a great contribution here to the city. I often say to people, it's not the mayor and the members of council who do all the work. And yes, we'll get a bit of credit for that. But the credit goes to you, our employees who work for the city and do a great job. So thank you very much. And yes, happy International Women's Day. I'd also like to move on by saying, sincere condolences to Randy Sims on the passing away of his brother, Dennis. Dennis made a great contribution over the years in municipal government. And, the Sims family, Randy also had a brother, I think, Councillor Stoyles, who was a mayor of St. Anthony. So municipal politics really runs strong within that family. We're finishing up the food drive for the healthcare workers this week. I'm anticipating that we're going to be going to level 4, and in that regard, I'm going to invite CAO Spurl to talk about that, because we don't really know when we're going to level 4. But I know, folks, you've been really busy. I'm talking to staff now, really, really busy pivoting the organization back to level 5. But anticipation and considering, planning is one of our strengths. And I've always said that we're a very nimble organization. I believe the plan is in the works to move to level 4 at some time in the future.
Yes, thanks, Your Worship. And thanks to everyone for all your kind words in terms of International Women's Day. We really appreciate it, and we certainly will pass those along to staff. So yeah, we have been preparing. We're continuing to monitor public health guidance to ensure that we're in compliance with the current restrictions. But we've also started actively planning and preparing for eased restrictions, as we hopefully will move into alert level 4 and hopefully shortly after alert level 3. So we've revisited the documents and the plans we had in place last year. There are some changes this year, some earlier, easing of restrictions as we know more about the virus and its spread. We're hoping that as soon as alert level 4 is announced, we'll be ready to go. And as Councillor Stoyles and Director Antle mentioned, we're taking advantage of some of the current closures to do routine maintenance. And we've been working with contractors who have, COVID protocols in place to have them in and get some maintenance done on the facilities, hopefully preventing any further downtime as we're ready to open up recreation programs and activities. And where we can expand any activities like the snowshoe rental and ski rental programs, we've taken curbside approaches to those programs, and happy to say we had a great first day on Sunday. So we continue to look at the program we have and expand it where we can safely for our employees and our staff. And we'll be ready to go once alert level 4 is announced.
That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you for your hard work and dedication. It's not easy managing through these times. And like I was referring to, you know, the food that we've been supplying to the healthcare workers up at the Reed Center and some of the other testing sites, including the testing lab down at the Miller Center. It takes a lot of people to keep this community safe, whether it's municipal workers or healthcare workers, and for that matter, our police departments and our fire departments and all that. And I'm not going to mention too many more names because I'm sure to exclude somebody, but it is a real team effort, hey, to get it done. And we look forward to living in a safer community further and further as we progress into 2021. But CAO Sparrow, it sounds like we're prepared, and we're grateful for that. So thank you all for your attention to that matter. And our residents will continue to see fine leadership here in the city of Mount Pearl. Folks, that's it. I think we've talked about everything. We've talked about our agenda today, our community. I want to wish you all we'll get together next Tuesday. So I want to wish you a safe week and health and happiness until we see you again. And we're adjourned on a motion of Councillor Fry and Councillor Antle. Thank you very much. Goodbye.